Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am super pumped. And to kick off today is the illustrious Mr. Jimbo Bernaus, our good friend. How are you, Jimbo?
What's up? I'm great. I am. I'm a bit tired, but super energetic as always, and I can't wait to get some drawings done. I love it.
Amazing. Are you ready to get experimental today? Because that's what it's all about, right?
That's experimental. Yeah, that's some mushroom lettering. Wow, like that's yeah. I don't
That's
know.
different.
Yeah, I mean, at the time that we were doing the latest product with Thea and Candice, we got super inspired, and we were like, let's do something different, right? So
Yeah.
we felt like this organic feeling with the textures we prepared for the patterns with it was amazing. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I gotta tell you something before. If you're doing it, don't worry if it's not super legible. I know I say that a lot of times, and in general, lettering should be legible because you want to communicate a message. But today is more about having some fun, having some nice textures, and yeah, cranking up some nice piece. So yeah, don't worry if it's not super legible. Yeah.
We're getting arty today. All right, Jimbo, without further ado, we got a lot of people who are ready for some lettering fun, it looks like, in the chat. So over to you.
So today we're gonna do, you can do the same word or you can do something else, however you feel like. If you wanna practice maybe just with one letter, I kinda encourage that. Or maybe if you wanna put like BAM or WOW or something like that, something shorter, because I don't think you're gonna have time to follow along in just 1 hour. But yeah, let's get into it so we don't miss more time. So okay, so that's the first sketch. This time it's just this little mess right here. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about it a lot, but for example, let's say that I didn't do it like that, but just so you understand better, let's put a Tom, get me a letter, your favorite letter.
S.
Of course, the most complicated. People, he did it in he did it
I
in
did it
purpose.
deliberately.
Of course. Okay, so if you wanna do this exercise, it's gonna really help you out. Okay, so we have an S here, right? So now we wanna choose maybe some darker brush, and then get, I don't know, you can choose any pencil. It's really not important, as always. I'm gonna choose one of mine, so something like that. Okay, so let's bring this a little bit down so we see it, but not much. And then, so it's basically about mushrooms, right? So you can get some, mushroom reference here. I think it would be really cool if you import one from Google. I think these mushrooms is my new favorite thing because their shapes and their colors is just mind-blowing, right? You can find a lot of mushrooms that have a lot of super nice textures and patterns and in the nature, and most of them, I mean, I think the pretty ones are most of them are poisonous, I think, but
Yeah, the more pretty, the more poisonous.
the more pretty, the less you can eat them. So basically just experiment a little bit. So just do, maybe you can start with like some just like rough shape on top of this, and maybe here you could add like maybe like a little, you see something, just this kind of looks like the Smurfs. I don't know why. So yeah, I mean, I didn't watch them for a long time, but so basically just try to, right now I'm just experimenting a bit. Okay, so but maybe try to do something like super weird, maybe you could do another mushroom right here. Okay, and I don't know, maybe this can just be like flying around or something. Okay, so again, and maybe you could do one somewhere right here. So for example, we could do something like this. This
is already looking pretty cool.
I mean, when I started doing it, it felt so free, that I think I'm gonna keep doing those for future pieces, because it really feels like, I don't know, I really enjoyed doing this. So yeah.
By the way, shout out to Camille. I totally mixed up my name. So it was not Candace who took time off work. It was Camille, who I can see in the chat today. Camille, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Hi, Camille. So, okay, so you get the point, right? So now I'm going to turn off the layer. Again, if it looks like an S, good. And if it doesn't, also good. But I mean, if you can read it a bit, maybe a bit better. But you see the point, right? So just start doing these little parts of the mushroom. And yeah, and you're going to have, you see, you're going to have a nice sketch. So yeah, just do something organic. And that's all you have to keep in mind. So, okay. For this, I even did it even worse. So this was just my way to put all the letters together and see that, I don't know, like that I'm covering some spaces. But yeah, you can also just write the letter in a font, add the letter, the word, sorry, using a font, and then on top do this exercise. Okay, so this is my sketch, a little bit more refined. Here you can just start doing, you know, like these little, more like these little details right here, you know. You could also here start adding some shadows if you would like. So I don't know, again, like every live session I do, okay, decide the source of light, especially love it from up here, but you can do it from anywhere you would like. And remember that, for example, if you, okay, let's say that you set it from here, remember that things like this will do a shadow right here. You saw it, right? This thing here. And that would be something. Then also keep in mind that the shadow, for example, in this little thing here, so the shadow would be a little bit bigger in the left side, right? Maybe a bit more stronger here. And then maybe here there could be a little shadow since it's kind of like a tube. And then we could add some lights somewhere around here. Okay, so again, just study it a little bit and understand what's happening. That's gonna give you way more freedom after. Okay, also these things inside, you can just put them darker. So it's just gonna give you a little bit more of dimension. And again, like something, maybe you can do a shadow like this here. Okay, so again, this is just a rough sketch. So
that looks so dynamic already.
Yeah, so I think
cool.
at this stage, sorry y'all, I'm gonna drink a little bit because
yeah, it's finally warm today in the UK, so I got my water too. I'm not used to this heat.
Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know how it works, the AC in this room, but I think I'm gonna need it soon. Anyway, you're gonna see that some sweat is gonna start falling soon because I'm really hot. So, okay, and now you're gonna say, what is this? So this is me playing around with colors. Okay, can you still see it, Tom, a little bit here? The sketch, you see it, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, very faint, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Look, I'm gonna just put it a bit up so we see it a bit more. So what I want you to do here is check out these colors, right? So the best thing to color one of these pieces is just to understand where the color is gonna be from the early stages. Okay, so for instance, Thea, come and explain this better. You're gonna do it better than me. I think she's gonna be in the chat at some point.
I'll look out for her.
Yeah, do that. So what I want you to do here is to the color palette. I'm not going to explain how to do a color palette right now, but keep in mind that you need, let's say, 3 or 4 main colors. So for instance, this would be a green, a dark blue, and a light blue, and maybe this right here. And then do different shades. So for example, this would be one of the colors that I'm selecting right now. You see it vibrating right here. Then maybe the dark tone could be something around here. You see this animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the same for example, for the greens or for the blue. So I have this blue, and maybe I could add a shadow of this, and then I could have another blue like this and add a shadow like this. Okay, so make sure that you have 3 or 4 colors, and each of them have a darker tone, and each of them also have a lighter tone. Okay, so now that we have this, what I wanted to do is to disregard these colors I had and just choose, I don't know, some pencil, whatever. Maybe this one is going to be okay. And yeah, this is going to be fine. So select one of the colors and try to balance it out. So what I mean by balancing out is paint it on top super roughly, because I want you to understand where the colors are going to be at. Let's say that we paint all this in blue and this in red. It's gonna just look too separated, and it won't be dynamic, and it's gonna be a little bit boring, and the weights are not gonna, be okay. So what I wanted to do is to put a bit of blue here, a bit of blue right there. Maybe we could do this whole letter right here. Okay. Again, this will be like you're a toddler who's, learning how to paint. Okay.
This is fun. I like this way of working.
It is. So yeah, once you have this, you can either create a new layer, for example, and select another color. And for this, I'm gonna select this kind of red, and then I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna put one here. Maybe I can do this whole letter, blah blah blah, and then I don't know, maybe this mushroom here, and maybe this little thing here. So now maybe we can go ahead and get a green. But you get the point, right? So basically what I want you to do is to balance out all the colors so everything looks super colorful and the colors are really well placed. Okay, I'm gonna erase this. So this is how it looks like. Also make sure that you put some lighter tones, like, I don't know, these whites or something like that. It's gonna add a bit more contrast to the piece. So let's go out. Okay,
the F keeps reminding me of like a chicken leg or something.
It actually looks like a chicken leg. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if we painted that in that skin color, it would be. Anyway, so what I want you to do here is, now that you have the colors, bring everything together in one layer, okay, and just make it a little bit smaller, okay, and put it somewhere here. This is just going to be the reference, and you can do this in a lot of ways. You can either save the image and bring your images, the Procreate. You can bring, wait, give me a second. In Procreate, you can bring the another app right here. For example, you can share the screen, so you could basically export it as a JPEG in images and just put your images here in the right. Or, well, there's literally an infinite amount of ways to actually put your image besides. So, but here I'm just going to put it here inside because it's not really important. It's just going to help you understand what's happening. So what I want you to do here is to select an inker. If you have any of my brushes or Shalbam's brushes, or even if you have, you do, the ones that come with Procreate, that's going to be fine. You guys know that I love the ones Thea and I create because we always had these little rough edges, Since we're talking about something more organic this time, I would like not to be super clean, and I want it to be like a bit more edgy. But this time, okay, so yeah, this is the green one. So basically get one of these inkers and just make it a bit cleaner. And right now we're just doing the whole letter. So disregard what goes in front and what goes in the background. And maybe here we can just cut it this way. Okay, so now drop a color. Remember to adjust the threshold by going to right and left. And now maybe you can, go ahead and clean it up a little bit if you want. And if you don't, just leave it like that. So, okay, right now the sketch is not really visible. So what we want to do is to put it up and always into multiply and bring the opacity down, okay? In this sense, whenever we put a new color, so for example, okay, this was a dark blue. So on a new layer, remember always new layers. and just do the same. Okay, so what happens if you don't have enough layers? You can also do it in another way. So you could even do one letter in each artboard, or you could work with a less DPI file. Okay, normally I'm working with something around, remember that I'm in Europe and I don't know anything about inches, so I always use centimeters, and I use something around 20 times 30 centimeters. So so it's horizontal, or you can even do the vertical one. And the DPI, I'm going to keep it to 300, 400, something like that, because then you can always, if you really like the piece, you can always sell it as a print, or you can, do a postcard for Christmas, or or send this mushroom typography to a weird friend of yours. You can also do that. Okay,
I like it. Send it to me. It's such an interesting piece.
I'm actually gonna do it, Tom. You'll get a postcard soon from me.
Super kind.
Okay.
I have to say, I always, without fail, I love your color palettes. And the color palette, is this the same that you picked for the previews for this whole pack? Yeah?
Yes. So
it's really cool.
It's exactly the same. Yeah, you know that I always like to brand the whole product the same. Yeah, and so it makes sense. So okay, I have it here. Okay, and what I did here is to basically, well, as you can see here, I'm never ever that organized. Okay, I'm not. I'm lying here. So bear that in mind. Okay, I'm not like that. I just want for you to understand more or less the thought process behind it. So if you have each mushroom and each letter a bit organized, it's gonna really help you out later on, because you can just go inside the little groups and start adding shadows. Okay, so it's always better like this. Okay, remember that to do groups, you can just go into a layer and then swipe this like this, and then you can tap up here on group. Okay. Okay, so again, I don't have to explain you anything about this, because you already see what is going on here. Just make sure that you, for example, move your elements around. So for example, if you want the H to go on top of the G, just make sure that you can show it here. Okay, so for example, I have FU, and I don't have, for example, the third one here. So do the groups, and then afterwards decide where you want your layers to be. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a bit of the process we're gonna do. First, we're gonna add some shadows, some lights. If you know me, you know that more or less this is what I do all the time. And then on top of everything, we're gonna add some patterns from the latest product we put up that Candice has designed. So, okay, so this is what I want you to do right now. Okay, we're gonna do the same with the, I don't know, for example, we could do it with the U. Okay, so we go to the EU right here. We do a new layer on top of this, and we set it as clipping mask. Then what I would like to do is to select a darker color. So you can either use a green or a blue. So for now, I don't know, let's use a green. I think in the final piece I used the blue, but it doesn't matter really. So, okay, I'm gonna go down here and select, I'm going to be using basically this little, wait, where is it? Here. These are the textures that we've prepared for the set. You can also use any of the textures if you have around your Procreate. But for this, if you have the pack, I'm going to use the cloudy sponge. Okay, you can experiment. You can do shadows with halftones. You can do shadows with anything you want. It's more about how you do it and less about what texture you have. Okay, so
amazing. By the way, we got Tara in the chat, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
Tara.
awesome. Hi, Thea.
She says you're rocking it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ask her if she's alone or some people from the co-working are there.
Yeah, cool. Let us know, Taya.
Just want to say hi to everybody.
She's here for support.
As always. Awesome. Well, next one, Tea's gonna be there for sure.
Yeah, we miss you, Taya.
People put some pressure onto Tea, so we are together in the next one. Okay. Right now, I'm in another city, but next time we're gonna do it together. So, okay. Basically, what I wanted to do is to add a general texture. Okay. So get your brush a bit bigger, and remember that you have to have a clipping mask here, and just do a little stroke here. So just tap on it or just bring it a little bit like this. Okay. So you can see that there is a bit, but not much. Okay, now I'm gonna do another clipping mask, and I'm gonna set this a little bit down, and I'm gonna set it into multiply, and I'm gonna start doing the shadows. Yeah, in the end, I decided that the lights are gonna come from the upper left corner, so I'm just gonna start adding shadows here. So I wanna add the like darker tones in this side. Okay, and then as I go, they're gonna be a bit less dark. Remember that this brush is really messy, so it won't give you a complete perfect texture, and that's what we really want here. Okay, because if we were to use like a native airbrush from Procreate or something like that, it would just look unnatural. So we don't want this here. We want something rough and dirty. Maybe up here we can add a bit more, and then remember to do the right sides first. So this is also going to be darker. Maybe too much. And then a bit more. Okay. Okay, so let's say that now we have kind of this. Now, let's do another clipping mask. And turn this around. And with a smaller brush, just give like a little bit in that corner. Awesome. And also right there.
That texture is so nice.
It's like a sponge, sort of. Yeah, you see that it creates like this if you go strong, but if you go like this, it creates.
Yeah, that really is. Like, I remember the sponges in art class at school where you just soak it in paint.
Exactly. They are so fun to use, actually.
Yeah, for real.
So, okay, now we've got something like this. And then we can also add a little shadow here. So remember that this mushroom somehow is gonna add some darker tones somewhere around here. So do something like that. Now it starts to look a little bit dimensional already. So okay, now that we have this, we're just gonna go ahead and add some lights. And I'm gonna go to the next slide. Let me see. What am I gonna do right now? Okay, I'm just gonna import these little shadows. I'm gonna put them all to multiply. I'm gonna import them to the next file because I wasn't working with the U. So now I'm gonna make sure that it's here. Now let's find the letter U and go. Okay, now I'm gonna set a clipping mask, multiply. That's it. Okay, so now we have the shadows. And as you can see here in the F, I'm gonna go to it and you're gonna see the difference. Let's go to the blue part. So basically, you see right now I'm just doing some lights. And for this, I'm using the overlay mode. So head back to your previous letter. And then on top of the shadows, always on top, I'm gonna add lights. So let's do something like this. And we set this into overlay. Okay, so what I want to do here is just adding some lights, let's say somewhere around here. Yeah,
A
that's
lot
one
of people
way.
are saying it looks like coral, disco coral.
Yeah, also, yeah, that's true. Yeah. You can literally, like, if you find anything you like in nature, you can just adapt it and make letters out of it. So that's sometimes I seem to forget this, and I always go, with the sans serif, and everything. But this is so fun to do.
We agree.
Okay, so right now I have this, and also let me see here. So now you see here in the corners that I also added some light, so it kind of gives a bit more realism. So we're gonna go ahead and add another one also, maybe with add or something. And sorry, clipping mask. And just maybe we're gonna add a little bit right here, just in case there is, a little glare of light in another part of the scene, for example. And we're gonna add a bit down here as well. Now here, play with modes, okay? I don't have a specific description for all of them. I understand, I think, like around 60% of them, and some of them I know because I used them in the past. But don't get too technical, okay? Just try to find something that works better. For example, for me, since I would like for it not to be whitish, maybe something more green, I'm gonna use an overlay. And if you want it to look a bit more visible, you can just duplicate this. You see? And the more times you duplicate it, the more you're gonna get it. So, opa, what happened here? Okay, sorry guys. So I think I put extra texture here. Okay. So now we have the lights. And now that we have the lights, we're gonna go ahead and put a pattern on top.
Amazing.
Again, I'm gonna go and get these two things. Remember that it's multiply and overlay. I don't know why, but every time you bring a layer to a new document, Procreate forgets the mode they were at. So, okay, I don't have layers here. So I'm just gonna join, for example, the H. Yeah. So let's find the letter again. Oh, look, I had shadow here. Okay. So this was, remind me, this was multiply. Sorry.
That looks so cool.
And this is overlay, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So now we have this. And now we're gonna see
Wow.
what awesomeness Candice did, because I love them. So the pack comes with 350 stamps and patterns. So there is, some of them are hand drawn and some of them are geometric. They are seamless as well, so you can just cover entire surfaces with them, and you can really choose whatever feels better. In this case, I'm using the hand drawn ones because, of course, since we're talking about organic type, this is gonna be better and it's gonna look more natural, right? So just pick your poison, whatever. Everything is good. I love these little circles, and I love the dots, and I love the little rain. so yeah, pick whatever you want. For example, we can, I don't know, let's choose these wedges, right? So what we want to do here is to go on top of the lights we have, and first I'm just gonna spray this like that. Remember that if you want to change this into a smaller grain and you want more little shapes, you can go up here in the brush studio. So remember, just tap on the brush. This is going to open, and then go to scale and scale it down a little bit. Okay, so now that it's done, tap on done and test it. I think this is going to work. So what we want to do now is to warp this thing across our letter. So for this, there's a bunch of ways to do it, okay? And if you have a better one, I would love to hear it. But this is how I've been doing it for the product, and I'm really loving it so far. So basically I'm doing some kind of a circle that kind of follows a bit of the shape of this. Okay. Go over it.
That's quite a interesting technique. Like even just roughly trying to get the form.
Yeah. There is some. I think there is some more. You have a bit more freedom in Photoshop, for example, but yeah, this is enough. It doesn't have to be like super 3D like. But it's just so it gives us a little bit of the overall texture. So what we want to do here. Sorry, my chair is doing some noises. Go here and tap on overlay. And now this is starting looking a bit more interesting. So what we want to do here is to go up here into the transform tool. And then you're going to tap on warp. Now you see that there's going to be 9 squares. And you have 4 handles. So basically 1 in each corner. Okay. So now what we want to do is to go in the bottom menu and tap on advanced mesh. You see that when I tap, instead of 4 handles, I get, I think it's 18. I'm not good in math. So Tom, 18? Yeah. 16. You see? Yeah. I told you. Okay. So 4 times 4, right? Yeah. So now what we want to do is to start wrapping it a little bit. So for this, I have to bear in mind that, for example, if we go to the F, the circles in the middle are going to be a bit bigger than the ones in the side. So just remember that if you were to warp a cloth around a balloon, right, what you would see from front would be the pattern big in front, obviously, and then as it goes round and it goes behind, you're gonna get a distorted pattern, obviously, from your point of view, right? So what we want to do here is exactly the same. Go here and start touching these little handles here. Try to wrap it here and try to wrap it also here. You can even get more specific and kind of do more like the shape.
This is something I see not very often in Procreate.
It's not a tool a lot of people are using because sometimes it can be tricky, and I think it's still missing a couple of things here and there. But it's really interesting because you can still do a lot of things. Because, for example, now that we warp this thing around, you can see that in the center still like looks a bit weird, and then it's really different. Like, for example, if we want to do this part right here, the one I'm moving here, this point, so it's really tricky to actually make this side a bit smaller than the other one. And that's why I'm saying that it works. It could be improved, but for what we want to do, it's really enough. So also you can just without toggling these little dots, but you can also go ahead and, for example, right now my pencil is in the middle of the screen, so you can also touch this. Okay. And for example, you could do like even these handles. If we bring them more here, it's gonna give even a better perspective, because the distance in between the ones in the left and the ones in the middle is going to be small, and therefore you see these triangles here are going to be smaller. So again,
perspective.
Yeah, just try to do it. Some shapes are going to be easier. For example, like this mushroom is super easy to do because basically you're going to just warp it perfectly. Letters like this there is this hole in the middle, and they're going to be more tricky. But anyway, and now that you have here this done, go ahead and do a clipping mask. Okay. Where are you? Here. I was doing it in some other part. So you see, it already looks realistic. So what you could do here is, again, you can try more modes. You could, instead of an overlay, for example, overlay, I love it because it gives, you see these greens become like this more soft green, and it's kind of
they capture the light.
Yeah, so always think that overlay works with light colors, and all the options aside, so soft light and hard light and all this, work with light colors. And everything that's above, so for example, multiply, that's for dark colors. And I'm going to show you in a second. So basically, now you could bring this overlay a little bit, down, the opacity down if you don't like it, or you could even try with darker tones, and it kind of looks cool as well. So just drop a darker tone, and even with overlay, it looks pretty cool as well. And you could also put it into multiply, and yeah, just have some fun here, because it's really cool. Okay.
And just experiment as well, right?
Yeah. By the end of the day, it's better if you don't treat this as a math problem. Again, just it's not like that. The options are there for you to play. It's better to have an understanding about the whole thing. Sure, I won't deny that. But yeah, it's really cool to just keep pushing it. And
100%.
Okay, so now that we have this, I'm gonna tell you a couple more shadows that you should do. For example, right here in this thing, you could do a new layer on top of this, and then with a lighter color, you could choose. I'm just gonna go around here and take an inker, so something like a wet inker, and I'm gonna do this little line here, a bit smaller, even a bit smaller. So it's like a few highlights here and there. Okay, you can also bring this a little bit down, maybe put it into some other mode.
People loving the session, by the way, just saying how beautiful it is. The awesome cat who runs our Procreate Facebook group says, I love adding patterns. It's so much fun. It is fun. And that's why I love this pack. It's so different. Like you just get hundreds to play with, and it's like a perfect embellishment for your compositions.
It is, yeah. Yeah, because sometimes you can have a piece, but when you add the patterns, especially look at this one, when you add these things here, look, I'm just gonna do this one really fast. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna do it a bit smaller like this, and I'm gonna warp it around. So it's really, 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 really fun. Okay, I'm gonna do an advanced mesh, because the results that you can get by having all these things, it's awesome. And then sometimes it happened to me that you had a client or something as well, or you want to do something really specific, and you don't want to spend a lot of time doing patterns. You can do them yourself, but like exactly for all these little things, like more organic things and stuff like that, I really love to have my collection ready to use. So
100%.
So yeah, like again, this goes down here. Okay, so you get the point. Just keep doing things. The other thing that I would like you to see is just to add a bit more, realism to the whole thing. I'm gonna go to the F, but you see, for example, now this looks kind of flat, and you cannot see basically the shadow that this little long mushroom that has a name, but I don't remember now. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you the chicken leg. Yeah, the chicken leg. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you how to do a little shadow here that it really works well. I'm gonna go with some of the textures. I think I'm just gonna use the cloudy sponge or the charcoal. I don't know, whatever. I think both of them are gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be cool. So remember that if you do a shadow that goes really next to this, okay, this is gonna look like this little mushroom that goes up is really, really close to the actual F. Okay, but if you want for it to seem like it's a bit further from the F, then you can just go ahead and do it a little bit further away. Okay, and then like paint it a bit like rougher in the like this, something like this will work for sure. Okay, so, and also if you want for it to be like this, would be totally parallel with the F, but if you want it to be more crooked, so it would be something like this. So it starts separated and it goes together. separated and together.
Nice. So it's like it's peeling off and getting further away.
Exactly. So you can really play with these little shadows, and it's gonna, it's gonna give an impact to your piece. Then also, if you don't like it that it's, too, it's too defined, then you can go
clean.
up here. Yeah, you can go here in adjustments, Gaussian blur, and you can just bring it a little bit like this. You can play with some modes like multiply, I love the best, and that's it. You got it. Okay. Coolio. So now let's go ahead and add some shadows to the whole thing. Now I'm gonna show you. Okay, so this is how it looks with all the shadows done. There is no lights here yet. You know that I always prepare the steps because otherwise we don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
And then here it's how it looks.
That's amazing.
With the patterns and
my favorite. In fact, let's pause for a second. Yeah. Can everyone in the live chat vote? What is your favorite letter out of these 6? I'm really torn because they're all so awesome. I kind of love that G.
The G is pretty cool, yeah.
The G looks awesome. These look amazing, man, though. Like, honestly.
Thanks, man.
That's incredible.
Thanks so much, man. I think the more playful you get and the more layers you put, the better. So in the G, for example, just the fact that there is this, totally unrealistic thing, because this is not a mushroom at all, but if you keep doing these incisions in your mushroom types, and then, for example, the G has this one, just to cover some parts of the G, and just get creative. And if you have a nice sketch, it's gonna look really cool. And I would really love to see if you guys are doing it, or you will see the replay or whatever. I would love for you to show us what you do, because I think I really want to see what's in your brain, because I think by the end of the day, this is really, really a creative task, and I would love to see it.
It's beautiful. So the favorite, I think, is N followed by F.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, for example, like the I could be misled by a T somehow, because it has the head is bigger and all that. But yeah, I mean, okay, so now that we have this, we are gonna go here, and then I'm just gonna show you a couple of the last details that I've put here. So I'm gonna turn this off a little bit, and I'm gonna show you, for example, down here I've included, there's another texture somewhere here. Here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I've added some white dots, because I'm a punk, and that, and I'm always afraid of white spaces, and I love it. So you can also play with some of these things Candice prepared. So for example, you can go, I think it was a hand drawn, and put some, I don't know, like you could play with some rain on the background. You see.
That's
so this
amazing.
would be one.
I mean, mushrooms love rain.
Exactly. So that would make total sense. And then you could also play, I think the one I put here is the...
Sorry, everyone's saying Jimbo's a fun guy.
Well,
I was waiting. I nearly made that joke earlier. I was waiting for someone.
Yeah, I know. My jokes are just hilarious. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so you can also, you could play with a lot of these patterns. For example, in here, you can just, bring the opacity down. And anyway, the one I enjoyed here putting was the clouds one that at the moment I cannot find. It's here. So yeah, just some clouds right here. You see, and some of them don't even have to look like a pattern, because I'm like, oh, I would like to add some clouds in the background, and I'm just gonna get this one, and I'm gonna paint until I want, because if I keep painting, then they're gonna show up. But if I don't, I'm just gonna have them somewhere here, and I also can just erase the ones I don't like. Anyway, so this is one. Then the other one that we have included is this one. So these are textures, and you know that in each pack that we either collaborate with someone or make ourselves at BAM, we always love putting textures. It's just those things, right?
Of course.
So here what I did is to put a canvas texture. So basically we have created all these little brushes here in the textures that kind of help you. So once you put the shadows and once you put the patterns and everything, these textures are gonna make your piece pop up a little bit more. So basically you can play with this. I think here I've added a soft light, and then bring the opacity a bit down, and then you see that you have this nice canvas texture. So I'm gonna turn my old one up. And then remember to put these layers on top of everything so it affects to the whole piece. You can also play with something in the background or something like that. So here I've also added, you can just go a bit crazy with this. So you could play with, let's say, some old cardboard, you know, and like, let's put some texture like this, and then again, bring the opacity down, play with the modes. You see, and all this is just gonna be add-ons that you can put with these brushes, and it's gonna just give you a nice impact to the whole piece. So I'm just gonna show you. I put this one, I put some grain, and I've put this cardboard up on top. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I've also,
it's stunning. I feel like I'm in a different universe. It's like this magical world.
Well, that would be kind of fun, you know, to kind of be super small and be here around and just jumping, and yeah, actually that would be cool. Anyways, also in the pack there is a couple pre-made scenes. So if you want to do it and you have it and you feel like you don't know how to add these final touch-ups and textures, in the pack we've prepared a couple of canvases, and with a typical image, like put your image here and then all these textures on top. So you can just go ahead, open it, and add your mushrooms there, and it's gonna be easier for you to actually do a nice piece.
And it's a great exercise to learn from if you're just starting out.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so
amazing.
yeah,
amazing. This is done. Like, I feel like I say this every time you join us, Jimbo, but I think this might be one of the favorite pieces that I've seen you do.
You know, if every time I come you say that it's one of your favorite pieces, that means that somehow I'm doing something. I'm something right. Yeah. That's cool. I'm super happy, man. Thank you so much,
Jimbo. I think that's all we got time for. But amazing stuff as ever. Thank you so much for your time, and I can tell everyone's super inspired today.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Design Cuts team, and thank you everybody to be here. And I fucking love you. Sorry, but I do. that
we love you too. It came from the heart.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, everybody, see you around. Okay. Hey, just one thing. If you do the piece, and I would love to see some mushrooms, so just send it. Go to Instagram and tag ShoutBam and Jimbo Bernaus, and we're gonna share it because I'm really looking forward to see it. That's it. Bye.
Love you, man. Thanks so much.